Hello, I am Abdul Awal, PhD student, Faculty of Philology, University of Lodz, Poland. My presentation topic is English in Bangladesh and Linguistic Imperialism. First, I would like to introduce the geographical situation of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is surrounded by India and Myanmar geographically. The neighboring countries include India, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. Now I would like to introduce the background of English in Bangladesh. Bangladesh, including West Bengal, the eastern Indian province, was traditionally a part of Indian subcontinent. In Bangladesh, linguists are sensitive and sentimental issues. English, which emerged in Bangladesh during the British political power, has a near unique colonial history, with India under the British colonizer for about 200 years until 1947. English has progressed through the centuries to be a prominent language in the societal setting, and its presence may be explained in terms of three distinct stages of Bangladesh's political history, beginning with the British colonial empire's introduction of English to the subcontinent of India. In this 21st century in Bangladesh, it is highly concerning that the English language is getting more priority than Bengali in every aspect and context in Bangladesh. For example, in Bangladesh, the Bengali language has been widely established in Bangladesh, but books of our higher education curriculum education are still in English language based. Medicine, engineering, most departments of public universities, private universities have been the medium of practice of English for a long time. Along with the University Grant Commission of Bangladesh published a 20 years strategy for higher education, strongly focused of English. A scholar stated that the people of Bangladesh start to forget foreign forget Bengali when they start earning money. Also, Bengali is not considered the language of elite people. Another scholar stated that the English language is dominating every aspect of life. The English and the Bengali mashup language was broadcast on national radio. Multiple events and festivals have English names on their banner. Due to the British colonial expansion, the English language has occupied an important linguistic position in post-colonial countries. In the socio-linguistic perspective, the spread of English in non-native countries is explained and criticized in a different point of views. The impacts of the emergence of English are also highlighted because language is closely associated with human culture, views, identity, and thinking. Sometimes it is often called language determines our thinking and views to the world, according to the Sapir of hypothesis. Though there are many controversial issues about it. Now, I would like to introduce the definition of linguistic imperialism. According to the Phil-Am, linguistic imperialism is defined as the imposition of a new mental structure through language. According to Ansre, linguistic imperialism denotes a situation where the mind and action of a speech community are dominated by some other foreign language, and they accept the use of the foreign language for a better life, better life in the domains of academia, philosophy, literature, governments, and legal activities and others. According to to a definition provided by Phillips on linguistic imperialism, is the notion that certain languages dominate internationally on others. There are many theories to explain the linguistic situation in post-colonial countries. One of them is Prospero complex. The term Prospero complex was coined by D.O. Manoni in his Prospero and Caliban, the Psychology of Colonization, published in 1964. He drew the views and perceptions of colonizers towards the native speakers of colonized countries psychologically and culturally, as Prospero always thought that Caliban was uncultured and void like his language. Colonizers always think that native people are savage. Prospero was scared that Caliban might rape his daughter. In the play The Tempest by William Shakespeare. The negative and mean attitude of the colonizers towards the colonized people and their culture is entitled to Prospero complex. It leads them strongly to dominate native people linguistically and culturally. Culturally. Uh, According to the theory of prosperity complex by linguistic imperialism, colonizers bear the dream to be a master of native people culturally, economically, and politically. Before learning the language of the colonizers, they consider natives as savage. This view can be entitled as Prospero complex. The rapid spread of English after British colonization is often regarded as the consequence of Prospero complex. At present in Bangladesh, English is presented and involved as a major subject in the curriculum. Like other colonized countries, the people or learners who can speak English well are considered highly educated, although they do not belong to any unique intellectuality or knowledge. The people who belong to intellectuality and unique knowledge but having no acquisition of English are considered inferior. So English appears always a significant subject in schooling in Bangladesh, like other countries of the Indian subcontinent. To elaborate people to evaluate people based on their language, not on their intellectuality, is associated with Prospero complex. Now, Kaliman complex. Kaliman complex is also called a dependency complex. It deals with the inferiority complex of the colonized people. It makes a limitation psychologically inside the colonized people. In that tempest, Shakespeare portrays the dilemma and complexity of Caliban vividly. The dependency complex of colonized people leads the way to spread English over Aboriginal people. In The Tempest, the William Shakespeare, Prospero tried to make Caliban dependent on him by his magic. Making dependence helps colonizer to colonize native people. In the context of Bangladesh, people got independence politically, but they did not come out of the dependency complex. People of Bangladesh have established an idea that without a language of the dominating country, they cannot cope with dependent development and advancement. As a result, they gave little attention to enrich their Aboriginal language. Postmodernist theorists and critic Fanon wrote, every colonized people, in other words, every people in those in whose souls an inferiority complex has been created by the dead and buried its local cultural originality finds himself face to face with the language of the civilizing nation, that is with the culture of the mother country. It is notified that Bangladeshi people often feel inferiority complex for their native Bengali language. This trend will make a permanent dependence on the speakers of the Bengali language. Grassroots theory. In 1996, Fishman, Conrad, and Robert Lopez jointly published a book of essays named Post-Imperial English, where Fishman mainly installed theory called grassroots theory to explain the reason of wildfire spreading of English in post-colonial countries, including Bangladesh, India, Africa, and so on. He introduced the reason for spreading English by spreading English by world political, cultural, and economic fields. The theory asserts the reason for spreading English is just for maintaining a lingua franca and to be connected with globalizing, modernization, and progressive advancement in the present world. Grassroots theory makes the legitimacy of using English by the excuse of internationalism and globalization. In Bangladesh, people learn English from the British period to the present day to change their lot. English has ensured its economic solvency by learning English. By people. A scholar wrote the reason for speaking English in Bangladesh in the British period. He wrote, Bengali people did not learn English due to the divergence of the aestheticisms of Bengal English literature. They rather learn English by the sake of their bread and butter. Another theory is exploitation theory. Exploitation theory is another perception of the spreading of English language in the entire world, especially the post-colonial countries. Exploitation theory claims that English is imposed in all over the world by the colonial master for their benefit, economically, culturally, and politically in depth. So it imposed to make the colonized people enslaved. A scholar opined that when colonizers imposed their language on the native people, it makes a sense. It makes tense among the aboriginal people of the particular land. These are one colonized people need to learn English to be globalized and modernized as well as for international communication. Two, they face a threat and confusion to be detached from their identity and ethnicity as imported language is always powerful politically and economically in consequence. The idea of diglossia was coined by Ferguson. It describes a situation where two languages or language varieties happen side by side in a community, and each has a clear variety of functions. Diglossia in linguistic is a term used to mean a specific community which speaks a language with prestige. It is H variety, and another language is less prestigious function L variety. When a powerful nation makes colonization or domination politically, the diglossia situation often happens. An overlapping or exaggeration in the practice of English language teaching in Bangladesh might be predicted to turn a diglossia situation. Diglossia differs as a function, a distinction of more than one language within a specific community. At present, a present distinction of language in Bangladesh is noticed. Young adults frequently use English. English is public communication and media used. English is used in public communication and media, making the functional distinction of English. English appears to them as a prestigious term beside native language is considered less prestigious to them. It is noticed that from the very beginning to the present day, English speakers in social function in Bengali from Bengali people have got supreme prestige and positions in society. Sunil Gangopadhyay, the Indian Bengali poet novelist, depicted the diglossia situation of Bangladesh. He wrote he noticed strongly that many Bengali people feel inferiority complex in Bengali culture and language. Even Bengali people often disregard their own language too. So the trend of diglossia in Bangladesh can be entitled paradiglossia. It is also often a major reason for the rapid emergence of English language in social function in Bangladesh. The above discussion illustrates the impact of English on post-colonial countries. Here are some suggestions for the future language policy and English teaching of post-colonial countries. Number one, linguistic human rights should be kept in mind to sustain an individual linguistic rights. It is essential to provide opportunities for nurturing and nurturing of mother tongues in the educational and social spheres. Number two, language policy makes need to think. Language policy makes need to think about linguicism as a form of racial discrimination. In order to ensure linguistic human rights, linguicism must be removed from language policy and implication acts. Local ELT, English language teaching practitioners need to develop their ELT materials. There should be a reflection of local linguistic characteristics. Based on this study, it appears that it will allow local learners to successfully integrate the second language in their educational process. Number four, an emerging phenomena in socio-linguistic linguistics called linguistic democracy can provide a panacea for English learning countries. A democracy will also contribute to the development of any language such as English by providing democratic rights to the young learners. Number five, Second, language acquisition should be free from linguistic hegemony. It is the responsibility of ELT teachers to ensure that their students don't disregard their own linguistic features and native varieties of the language. Number six, students and teachers should consider that English is not learned to make the native speakers look superior or to enable the local people to assume an equal role in the global communication, but to enable it. Number seven, the history and the civilization of local and indigenous people need to be included in the ELT curriculum in the post-colonial countries. Number eight, there is a need to give prestige to the local phonological features and varieties in international and international communication, since they are the essence of the sound of the local people that should not be insulted and should never be uprooted. Number nine, language and nationalism have very sensitive relations and interrelationship. Language can sometimes determine a personal identity as well as their community's identity. The second language or the language of dominant people can be considered deglossia in language community. Consequently, ELT materials developers should be concerned about the exaggerated importance and appreciations of the second language. Number 10, post-colonial countries need to develop a local language fluency test accumulating local varieties that are free from linguistic dominance in order to evaluate English language proficiency. Number 11, the post-colonial people need to develop a variety of English through publication, writing, and literary works. Local varieties can be established globally through literature and publishing. Number 12, it is a form of language suicide to adopt and use foreign words unnecessarily within one's native language. Educators and second language learners should be concerned about language suicide. Thank you. Thanks for watching my presentation.